Hey guys, uh, I have to say something really quick before I'm not where I usually am when I do this. I've had to run around and make some moves in the past couple days, but I have to get this out before I I don't get another chance. So I just don't know when it'll come back. So I'm kind of on pins and needles. So bear with me here, guys. Hey guys. But my name's Mitch, and I'm here to tell you guys about an experience I had. And I don't know if it was paranormal or whatever stupid words people use to describe supernatural phenomenon, but after that thing visited me, I believe in that paranormal trash now. A week after I moved in with my brother, Edwin, after my house was foreclosed, I finished unpacking. Edwin liked the idea of me moving in since we had not seen each other after 10 years, so I was excited too. I soon fell asleep after I moved in. After 1 week, I heard rustling noises coming from outside at about 1 in the morning. I thought it was a raccoon, so I ignored and tried to fall asleep. The next morning, I told Edwin about it, and he agreed as well. The next night, however, I thought I heard my window opening and a loud thump, as if something entered my room. I darted up and looked around my room, but I saw nothing. The next morning, Edwin dropped his coffee cup when he saw me. He held up a nearby mirror, and I saw myself. I had a large gash in my left cheek. After I was rushed to the hospital, my doctor told me that I must have been sleepwalking. But then he showed me something that made my blood, everything turn cold. He lifted up my shirt to reveal that I'd been sewn up right where my kidneys were. I stared in his eyes, my eyes widening. You somehow lost your left kidney last night. We don't know how, though. Sorry, Mitch, my doctor told me. But the next night was my breaking point. Around midnight, I woke up to see a truly horrifying sight. I was staring face to face with a creature with a black hoodie and this dark white mask with no nose or mouth staring down at me. The thing that scared me the most was that it had no eyes, just empty black sockets. The creature also had some black substance dripping from its sockets. I grabbed a camera nearby on a mantle and took a picture. After the picture took, the creature lunged at me and tried to claw open my chest to get my lungs. I stopped it by kicking it in the frickin' face. As I ran out of my room, I grabbed my wallet. I would need the money. I ran out of my brother's house into the night. I eventually ended up in the woods near Edwin's house, and I tripped on a rock. I fell unconscious and woke up in the hospital. My doctor entered the room, the same one who treated me before. I have good news and bad news, Mitch, my doctor started. The good news is that you had minor injuries, and your parents are going to pick you up. I sighed with relief. The bad news is your brother has been killed by something. Sorry. My parents took me back to Edwin's house to collect my remaining belongings, which I did. Upon entering my room, I was scared, but remained calm. I grabbed my camera and stopped, dead in my tracks. In the hallway leading to my room, I saw Edwin's body and something small lying next to it. I picked up the small thing and entered my parents' car, not mentioning Edwin's corpse. I looked at the thing I picked up and nearly vomited. I was holding my half-eaten kidney with some black substance on it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Creepypasta Night number 2. I hope you enjoyed last time's Creepypasta. I'm excited to get started this time with another round of some awesome Creepypastas, so I hope you are ready for a thrilling night. It'll be an awesome time, and yeah, if you've noticed, my camera's a little different. My microphone's probably a little different because I'm actually at my house in Montgomery and not in Auburn. So I'm on an Xbox Live webcam, so this makes it all the more enthralling, if you ask me. If you have any late night friends who like to do creepy stories and scary stories, bring them into this. I want them to be a part of it. I know there's no chat this time, and that's a little upsetting because I loved the chat from before, but it's just been kind of strange, so I don't know why. But we are going to have fun. We're going to make this work. I'm on Creepypasta Wiki. I'm trying to find some good ones for y'all. I'm probably going to go to my my YouTube to see what y'all are saying, to see what you guys suggest from this evening of Creepypastas. It'll be a fun time, if you ask me. So let me go to my live events page. Creepypasta Night number 2. That's kind of cool. You can be a part of the conversation, apparently. That's neat. Let's see. Please don't be naked. What if I wanted to be naked? You ever think about that, guys? No one's left me any suggestions currently, so I will pull up some that I think are pretty good in and of themselves. Like whatever the heck this one is. Oh gosh, there must be an ad on this page. I don't like this. Go away. Go away, creepy ad. Or Wells Fargo ad. All right, guys, I found one that I have not read before, not seen before. Sounds pretty tight, so we are going to do this one. This one is called Let Me Introduce Myself. So, remember those dreams you had when you were little? Disfigured humanoids and the like. Some of the dreams you had weren't really dreams. And this story is a dream I had earlier this summer. It happened this year, not long from now. I woke up with strange pain that shot through my body. I noticed a strange figure in my doorway, and immediately from my reads of pastas, I thought it was Slender Man. But when my eyes adjusted to the light, I could see that it was not. It was short. But still, it stayed in my head forever. It was only partially materialized, and within moments it formed into what appeared to be me. It was completely silent until it spoke. Let me introduce myself. I am you. But you can't be me. I am me. He had a strange voice, but he still spoke otherwise. Nonsense. You know the thing about time travel, that the same matter can't exist in the same place at the same time. Well, I would have to walk inside of you to do that, and that's physically impossible. I am a time traveler? No, not that either. Then what are you? It took me some time, but I realized that I was talking into thin air in reality, and that the voice was in my head. Shall I show you my true form? I did not hesitate. I told him to get on with it. Go ahead. Show me. It took the half-materialized form. Then it turned to this creature I can't describe. But from that, I knew that I had died, and that death was letting me go. Now that you have seen me, I shall go. It then seemed to fade into nothingness. Its voice still spoke to me. I hope that you are satisfied. But I will return, for I am the end. I will come back for you, and you will not see me come. My little brother walked over to me, seeing me stand and stare into the open doorway of my room. He spoke to me from the hallway of the house. What the hell? Who are you talking to? He questioned. I did not answer. I just went back to sleep. And that is let me introduce myself. It's an interesting one. It's a little fun. It's not too great, but it was fun. I'm looking up another one I really like. Oh no, work! Oh gosh, of course I'm this old. Mm-hmm. Let me see what y'all are suggesting. Let me refresh my page. Sorry if the mic quality isn't as good either. I'm actually using a Dynex Best Buy microphone, if anyone knows what that is. It's super fun. Super fun. All right, let's see what y'all are saying. Man, I just coughed out my candles. Sorry, guys. I need my candles back. Lilac Blossom, my favorite. People really want me to read the Russian Sleep Experiment, so apparently this needs to happen. Wow, guys, you gave me like War and Peace. All right, guys, I'll save the Russian Sleep Experiment and put it to the side for now. If you really want me to do the Russian Sleep Experiment, that's probably going to be that one and maybe one other one I do tonight because it is so long. So I've seen more than just one person suggest that. So if you want me to do the Russian Sleep Experiment really badly, just say you're willing to only have like 1 or 2 creepypastas tonight. Let's see here. We have the strangest security tip ever. I like that one a lot. I actually listened to that one, and it was, oof, that was bad. What is bedtime? Oh my gosh, that one's long too. Smile dog. Smile.exe or smile dog. I've wanted to read Smile Dog, or is it dog.exe? Smile.exe? Smile Dog, Creepypasta, there it is.
Do you not have the Google Hangout thing, chat thing, or little in comments?
I'd have to reset things.
Gotcha.
Dang, that dog of that picture is frickin' messed the frick up. My computer just turned on and turned into hyperdrive, guys, and it freaked me out. That is that's unsettling. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. Let's see.
Symmetry?
I saw that one too. It was long. All right, guys. We are going to do Smile Dog. Here you go. I first met in person with Mary E. in the summer of 2007. I had arranged with her husband of 15 years, Terrence, to see her for an interview. Mary had initially agreed since I was not a newsman, but rather an amateur writer gathering information for a few early college assignments and, if all went according to plan, some pieces of fiction. We scheduled the interview for a particular weekend when I was in Chicago on unrelated business. But at the last moment, Mary changed her mind and locked herself in the couple's bedroom, refusing to meet with me. For half an hour, I sat with Terrence as we camped outside the bedroom door, I listening and taking notes while he attempted fruitlessly to calm his wife. The things Mary said made little sense, but they fit with the pattern I was expecting, though I could not see her. I could tell from her voice that she was crying, and more often than not, her objections to speaking with me centered around an incoherent diatribe on her dreams, her nightmares. Terrence apologized profusely when we ceased the exercise, and I did my best to take it in stride. Recall that I wasn't a reporter in search of a story, but merely a curious young man in search of information. Besides, I thought at the time I could perhaps find another similar case if I put my mind and resources to it. Mary E. was the SysOp for a small Chicago-based bulletin board system in 1992. And for those who don't know what SysOp means, it means system operator. She worked for that small-based Chicago bulletin board system in 1992, and that was around when she first encountered Smile.jpg, and her life changed forever. She and Terrence had been married for only 5 months. Mary was one of an estimated 400 people who saw the image when it was posted as a hyperlink on the BBS. Though she is only one who has spoken openly about the experience, the rest have remained anonymous, or are perhaps dead. In 2005, when I was only in 10th grade, Smile.jpg was brought to my attention by my burgeoning interest in web-based phenomena. Mary was the most often cited victim of what is sometimes referred to as smile.dog, the being Smile.jpg is reputed to display. What caught my interest, other than the obvious macabre elements of the cyber legend and my interest in such things, was the sheer lack of information, usually to the point that people don't believe it even exists other than as a rumor or a hoax. It is unique because Though the entire phenomenon centers on a picture file, that file is nowhere to be found on the internet. Certainly, many photo-manipulated simulacra litter the web, showing up with the most frequency on sites such as ImageBoard, 4chan, particularly the /x/focus paranormal subboard. It is suspected these are fakes because they do not have the effects the true smile.jpg is believed to have. Namely, sudden onset temporal lobe epilepsy and acute anxiety. This purported reaction is in the viewer is one of the reasons the phantom-like smile.jpg is regarded with such disdain, since it is patently absurd. Though, depending on whom you ask, the reluctance to acknowledge smile.jpg's existence might be just as much out of fear as it is out of disbelief. Neither smile.jpg nor smile.dog is mentioned anywhere on Wikipedia, though the website features articles on such other, perhaps more scandalous shock sites as hello.jpg or 2 Girls 1 Cup. Any attempt to create a page pertaining to smile.jpg is summarily deleted by any of the encyclopedia's many admins. Encounters with smile.jpg are the stuff of internet legend. Mary E's story is not unique. There are unverified rumors of smile.jpg showing up in the early days of Usenet, and even one persistent tale that in 2002 a hacker flooded the forums of humor and satire websites, something awful, with a deluge of smile.dog pictures, rendering almost half the forum's users at the time epileptic. It is also said that in the mid to late 90s, that smile.jpg circulated on Usenet and as an attachment of a chain email with the subject line, "Smile, God loves you." Yet despite the huge exposures these stunts would generate, there are very few people who admit to having experienced any of them, and no trace of the file or any link has ever been discovered. Those who claim to have seen smile.jpg often weakly joke that they were far too busy to save a copy of the picture to their hard drive. However, all alleged victims offer the same description of the photo. A dog-like creature, usually described as appearing similar to a Siberian husky, illuminated by the flash of the camera, sits in a dim room. The only background detail is visible being a human hand extending from the darkness near the left side of the frame. The hand is empty, but it is usually described as beckoning. Of course, most attention is given to the dog or dog creature, as some victims are more certain than others about what they claim to have seen. The muzzle of the beast is reputedly split in a wide grin, revealing 2 rows of very white, very straight, very sharp, very human-looking teeth. This is, of course, not a description given immediately after viewing the picture, but rather a recollection of the victims, who claim to have seen the picture endlessly, repeated in their mind's eye during the time they are, in reality, having epileptic fits. These fits are reported to continue interminably, often while the victims sleep, resulting in very vivid and disturbing nightmares. These may be treated with medication, though in some instances it is more effective than others. Mary E., I assumed, was not on effective medication. That was why after my visit to her apartment in 2007, I sent out feelers to several folklore and urban legend-oriented news groups, websites, and mailing lists, hoping to find the name of a supposed victim of smile.jpg who was more interested in talking about his experiences. For a time, nothing happened, and at length I forgot completely about my pursuits, since I had begun my freshman year of college and was quite busy. Mary contacted me via email, however, near the beginning of March 2008. Dear Mr. L., I am incredibly sorry about my behavior last summer when you came to interview me. I hope you understand that it was no fault of yours, but rather my own problems that led me to act out as I did. I realize that I could have handled the situation more decorously. However, I hope you will forgive me. At the time, I was afraid. You see, for 15 years, I have been haunted by smile.jpg. Smile.dog comes to me in my sleep every night. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. There is an ineffable quality about my dreams, my nightmares, that makes them completely unlike any real dreams I've ever had. I do not move, I do not speak. I simply look ahead, and the only thing ahead of me is the scene from that horrible picture. I see the beckoning hand. I see Smile.Dog. It talks to me. It is not a dog, of course, though. I am not quite sure what it really is. It tells me it will leave me alone if I do as it asks. All I must do, it says, is spread the word. That is how it phrases its demands, and I know exactly what it means. It wants me to show it to someone else. And I could. The week after my incident, I received in the mail a manila envelope with no return address. Inside was only a 3.5-inch floppy diskette. Without having to check, I knew precisely what was on it. I thought for a long time about my options. I could show it to a stranger, a coworker. I could even show it to Terrence, as much as the idea disgusted me. And what would happen then? Well, if Smile.Dog kept its word, I could sleep. Yet if it lied, what would I do? And who was to say something worse would not come for me if I did as the creature asked? So I did nothing. For 15 years. Though I kept the diskette hidden amongst my things, every night for 15 years, Smile.Dog has come to me in my sleep and demanded that I spread the word. For 15 years, I have stood strong, though there have been hard times. Many of my fellow victims on the BBS board where I first encountered Smile.jpg stopped posting. I heard some of them committed suicide. Others remained completely silent, simply disappearing off the face of the web. They are the ones I worry about the most. I sincerely hope you will forgive me, Mr. L. But last summer when you contacted me and my husband about an interview, I was near the breaking point. I decided I was going to give you the floppy disk. I did not care if Smile.Dog was lying or not. I wanted it to end. You were a stranger, someone I had no connection with, and I thought I would not feel sorrow when you took the diskette as part of your research and sealed your fate. Before you arrived, I realized what I was doing. I was plotting to ruin your life. I could not stand the thought, and in fact, I still cannot. I am ashamed, Mr. L. And I hope that this warning will dissuade you from further investigation of Smile.jpg. You may in time encounter someone who is, if not weaker than I, then wholly more depraved. Someone who will not hesitate to follow Smile.Dog's orders. Stop while you are still whole. Sincerely, Mary E. Terrence contacted me later that month with the news that his wife had killed herself. While cleaning up the various things she'd left behind, closing email accounts and the like, he happened upon the above message. He was a man in shambles. He wept as he told me to listen to his wife's advice. He found the diskette, he revealed, and burned it until it was nothing but a stinking pile of blackened plastic. The part that most disturbed him, however, was how the diskette had hissed as it melted. Like some sort of animal, he said. I will admit that I was a little uncertain about how to respond to this. At first, I thought perhaps it was a joke, with the couple belatedly playing with the situation in order to get a rise out of me. A quick check of several Chicago newspaper online obituaries, however, proved that Mary E. was indeed dead. There was, of course, no mention of suicide in the article. I decided that, for a time at least, I would not further pursue the subject of Smile.jpg, especially since I had finals coming up at the end of May. But the world has an odd way of testing us. Almost a full year after I'd returned from my disastrous interview with Mary E., I received another email. The subject is Smile. Hello. I found your email address through a mailing list. Your profile said you were interested in Smile Dog. I have saw it. It is not as bad as everyone says. I have sent it to you here. Just spreading the word. Smiley face. The final line chilled me to the bone. According to my email client, there was one file attachment called Naturally. Smile.jpg. I considered downloading it for some time. It was most likely a fake, I imagine. And even if it weren't, I was never wholly convinced of Smile.jpg's peculiar powers. Mary E's account had shaken me, yes, but she was probably mentally unbalanced anyway. After all, how could a simple image do what Smile.jpg was said to accomplish? What sort of creature was it that could break one's mind with only the power of the eye? And if such things were patently absurd, then why did the legend exist at all? If I download the image, if I looked at it, and if Mary turned out to be correct, if Smile.dog came to me in my dreams demanding I spread the word, what would I do? Would I live my life as Mary had, fighting against the urge to give in until I die? Or would I simply spread the word, eager to be put to rest? And if I choose the latter route, how could I do it? Whom would I burden in turn? If I went through with my earlier intention to write a short article about Smile.jpg, I decided I could attach it as evidence. And anyone who read the article, anyone who took interest would be affected. And even assuming the Smile.jpg attached to the email was genuine, would I be capricious enough to save myself in that manner? Could I spread the word? Yes. Yes, I could. And that is Smile.dog. If y'all want to look at the picture, go to creepypasta.wikia.com/wiki/smile_dog. And it's at the bottom of the page. Just look up Smile Dog Creepypasta, and it's probably on the Wikia. I will suggest to you, I looked at the image before I read this, and I was frightened. I was like, that's really odd. Then I was reading the story, and I was like scrolling along slowly so I wouldn't see the image again, because that was freaking me out, guys. I did not like reading that. That was scary. By the way, just to let y'all know, my friend Neil is here, and Kara is here as well. They are here with me. Y'all say hi.
What's up?
There's Neil. Kara, say hi. I introduced them mainly because I want to ask their opinions on that one. What'd y'all think of that story?
I'm sorry, I wasn't really paying attention to that one.
Fair enough. Kara, what about you?
It was creepy.
I never read that one. I heard everything about it, but I
Yeah.
never read it. And I've seen that picture, too.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it, and I've seen that picture, but I've never seen it, and I'll never look at Jax the same way.
Right? We have a Siberian Husky of that breed, guys, that we room with. My brother has a Siberian Husky,
Almost.
same breed. Yeah,
Weird.
screwed. So there's that.
You should turn on your creepy music.
Oh yeah, I didn't have my creepy music. Sorry about that, guys.
Also, people are curious as to why you don't have the chat.
I don't know why I don't have the chat, guys, and it's already started. And I don't want to try to change it around again, but I don't know. It was very strange. I did the same method. I did the upload and I did that whole thing, but it just didn't appear. I don't know. It's very strange, guys. Sometimes it chooses to work and sometimes it doesn't, and I'm probably doing something wrong. Huh? What's what light?
What light? To your right of the screen.
You mean right here?
Yeah.
What is that? Oh, it's that power light on the computer.
Oh.
Right there.
Creepy.
It's an orb. It's a freaky orb.
Put it in there.
Let's see here. All right, guys. Let's see what your comments are. If anything is coming in. Thank y'all for attending Creepypasta Night number 2. Thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate your being a part of it.
Do you like the opening?
Robin says, hi, Neil. Hi, Kara. Apparently the story was new to Robin. There's another smile dog picture. It is creepier if you look at the image while you read. Man, I don't need to look at it again. I'm good. Let's see. He's just smiling. Such a happy dog. Ugh, ugh. Let's see. People put the image of the smile in the chat.
That's nice.
Apparently Hillary is unfazed by this picture.
I think the picture isn't as frightening, except that.
Are you looking at the one that looks like a Polaroid picture?
Yeah.
The one that looks like a Taylor Swift album shot?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't like that one. I don't like that one.
That one's more creepy with the story to go along with it, but. Also, do y'all like the new Horror for Hiles picture?
Do y'all like the new Horror for House picture on the fan page?
Profile picture?
The prof pic.
Graphic? I think cover photo, I guess. Is it creepy or is it stupid?
It's creepy, stupid. I think it's pretty creepy. I think it's cool.
I'll find it. Let's see then.
I think it's awesome. Let's see. Ooh, Robin's doing some creepy stuff with this picture.
I saw Robin.
It freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, if any of y'all like dress up or anything.
Yeah,
Halloween
take pictures
parties,
for
take
Halloween
pictures.
stuff. Post it to our page.
I like seeing that stuff.
I love all that stuff. All about that bass.
Also, quick change.
Huh?
Did anyone attend the trivia night with Karen?
Yes. Did anyone attend trivia night the other night? I'd like to hear y'all's opinion on that. See how that went. Let me know what you think. I'm just refreshing the page, guys, so I am getting comments piecemeal. Loves the new Horror Files pick. Looks freaking awesome. Hello, Mr. Biscuit.
Biscuit. I like biscuits.
Well, me guys, all right, guys, I'm gonna try and no, I already got this, and if I make another video, it'll just be strange.
Well, we still have another creepypasta night next week.
We do have another Creepypasta night next week, and I will definitely make sure that this time, guys, it will not mess up, and it'll be awesome and not stupid. So, alrighty, here we go. I'm gonna read, I think, 2 more. I saw this window one someone was talking about that looked kind of creepy. He's in the window. You know, Reddit's fun. All right, here we go. He stood against my window. I don't know why I looked up, but when I did, I saw him there. He stood against my window. His forehead rested against the glass, and his eyes were still and light, and he smiled, a lipstick red, cartoonish grin. And he just stood there in the window. My wife was upstairs sleeping. My son was in his crib, and I couldn't move. I froze and watched him, looking past me through the glass. Oh, please, no. His smile never moved, but he put a hand up and slid it down the glass, watching me, with matted hair and yellow skin, and faced through the window. I couldn't do anything. I just stayed there frozen, feet still in the bushes I was pruning, looking into my home. He stood against my window. That's creepy.
Short and sweet.
Ugh.
You like that, Karen?
Ugh.
I want to lot of bedrooms have windows too. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, we have a bunch of windows in our rooms.
Also,
Thanks,
you
guys.
should go look at Robin's picture he left on Facebook. Real quick.
I'm good.
No, go
I'm
look.
sure it's creepy.
No, go look.
It's creepy.
No, it's not. It's okay.
It's creepy. I bet it's creepy. Bet it ain't creepy. It's gonna be Smile.dog, and I'm not giving in to you.
No, look. It's not going to be smart. I promise it's not smart. Wow.
Can I just look on your screen from over here?
No,
So I don't have to leave this chair?
no, look right there.
No, I don't want to do it.
Robin would not send you anything harmful.
That's creepy.
I know.
Awesome.
I asked if it was creepy, and you lied to me. I'm liking it anyway. Thank you, Robin. I needed that.
You said for people to post pictures.
I did, didn't I? Maybe when it was not midnight.
No, you should do, Taylor.
What?
Just talking about the Usher guys.
Oh, I should. Oh, y'all. Ooh.
This is
Ooh.
a real.
This is a real true story,
This
guys.
is not a creepy.
This is not a creepypasta, but this is real story. And what's even scarier, guys, is it took place in this room that I'm sitting in, right here behind me. True story, true experience. Really crazy. Neil was a part of it, or the latter part of it. You know, give me an amen, Neil, so they know I'm not lying.
Amen.
All right.
Do you have?
So now you know.
Have a clip?
Well, that's the thing. I'm trying to find it because I want to give you guys a real insight into this. I'm also not going to use Dropbox because Dropbox can go die in a hole. It's just so being painful to me. It's good in all their instances except when I want to give y'all my Be Prepared video because YouTube's being a pain. So I am currently disputing it so y'all can view it for the time being, those who had trouble. And yes, I definitely hope y'all enjoyed it. And thank you so far for the wonderful comments on it. It was so difficult, guys. I blew my voice out on that sniff from me line. Won't get a sniff without me. And then people were telling me, oh, the actual guy blew his voice out on that line. I'm like, oh, well then. I haven't blown my voice out in years, you guys. Years. And it's such a strange sensation. It really feels like your voice is going away. And that's really scary. It's very scary. I don't think I have the file, guys, but I do want to get it, and I'll probably post it on my fan page when I do get it so y'all can have it. Because I have recordings. I have straight up recordings. And I had a video on YouTube until my Crazy Bros account got removed, which is really sad because I could just send you all of that video after telling you about it, but now I can't. So maybe I can. I'm going to look through my videos here real quick. Maybe I saved it. I don't think I did, though, at least on this computer. Okay. Well, I will send y'all really quick a link to my band's page because it revolves around them. All right, I'm going to post it in the comments, guys. Maybe I'm going to call this Creepypasta. The Creepypasta is pretty much already called it in the band and the people I know. It's called the Usher Ghost. And so the story is called the Usher Ghost. And it's going to be really full of ums and uhs. So there's no real script here. This is off the cuff. About 2009, me and my friend Phil, by the way, this is true story. So this is actually about Caleb Hiles and my friends. So this is not fake story. About 2009, Phil decided that he wanted to start a band. And he was up here with me. We were hanging out, chilling. And I had this broken Spanish guitar that my dad had for some reason. And I also had a first act drum kit that I had not played ever. But I love drums. And I was told in the 7th grade I couldn't play the drums because my math grades weren't good enough. Problem is that everybody in my school wanted to play drums. So they had to find a way to filter out people. And their idea was, if you can't do math, then you can't play drums. Which is really ridiculous. I guess the idea is, well, if you're good with numbers, you know, kind of thing. So I didn't get to play drums in 7th grade, and I probably would have been a pretty good drummer had I started early. But I played trombone. But all this to say, Rock Band came out, and I played drums like crazy. And I got relatively good, and then I got the first act drum kit, and I never played with it. But when I started playing Rock Band, I understood drums better, so I actually knew how to play the first act drum kit pretty well. So when Phil was like, let's just jam, let's just play some. One night he was hanging out, let's just play some, go over there. And he'd been working on his electric Fender that his stepdad had gotten him. And he just started playing this really simple riff, like super simple. And I played on the drum, did a super simple drum beat, and we just had so much fun with that. It was so much fun. And so from then on out, anytime he'd come over, we'd always jam. Ever since then, our friendship was based around games and entertainment and just joking about stuff. And then music became the central topic and still is. But we were the first songs he ever wrote. He is the songwriter for From the Dark. He writes everything, and he wrote his biggest influences are Megadeth, Nevermore, Metallica, and King Diamond. Those are his musical influences, and he loves to write about literature. His music revolves around literature or musicals. So Phantom of the Opera Ghost, some of you may have listened to it. You may know about it. It's our very first album. And another big influence of his is Edgar Allan Poe and a lot of the writings he's done in his stories. So the first set of songs he wrote about that we ever did, that he recorded, was a 3-part song series of The Fall of the House of Usher. And the first part was called Midnight Approach, when the dude's coming in, going to the house of Usher, and how it's all rainy and stuff, very atmospheric, still pretty heavy. The third part was how the whole house felt. Like, everything's falling, it's crazy. And that actually ended up on the Opera Ghost album right now. You can go listen to The Fall of the House of Usher, the third part of the album, or the third part of the story. Now, the second part is called Mourning. Mourning, mourning, like crying, being upset. And that's the part of the story where the dude is hiding his sister away in the floorboards or in a cabinet. I forgot exactly. Basically, he's hiding away his sister because she's dead, and it's really bloody and gruesome and very, very disturbing portion of the story. And the song is also disturbing. The one he wrote, there's a lot of tritones, very unsettling. I wasn't the biggest fan of the song. I liked the song a lot because I had fun drumming on it. Had a good beat to it. I'm trying to think of the lyrics to the song a little bit because that's kind of important. I know the melody. It was like, burn on now, burn on now, burn on now. Something, something, something. I'm getting it wrong. I'm turning it into a major scale, and it was totally in minor. All that is to say, creepy song. We practiced a lot. He brought them to me, sent me his demo tapes, and we have terrible recording equipment, guys. Just terrible. Funny fact, though, the mic I'm using right now is the same mic I used to record those demo tracks back in the day, which is even crazier. So we didn't have good recording equipment at all. He had a crate amp, really small, picked up radio frequencies a lot. Wait, you have it?
Yeah.
You have it? How the frick do you have it?
I don't know.
Can you hand it to me? Okay, guys, I have Usher 2 right here. It's going to be terrible quality, but you're still going to be able to hear it.
It's only a clip, I think.
And it really adds, I think it adds a lot to the story, guys, because about what I'm about to tell you, because I don't know if Phil's intention was of this to sound really evil, but it is really evil. That's the only thing I can say, and that's hoping the
Just turn the volume up.
I'm going to turn the volume up for you guys here. So hopefully you can hear it. If it's too loud, just turn your volume down. Sorry, guys. Here you go. This is Usher 2 Mourning in our really bad quality from back in the day. This was recorded in 2009, mind you. It's a little loud. And you hear me stop playing on that recording. I'm sure it was really hard to hear. That's actually the recording, the one I just played for you. And it took me forever to find it when I thought about it. But basically, we were one day, to do the story, we were playing through the songs, just me and him. And I was on the drum set back here, and he was over in the corner, or he was over here playing with his crate amp. And we were running through the song, as you heard, and about halfway through that run through, I heard this. Like, I'm getting chills in my arm thinking about it. It was just this blood-curdling screech, like nothing I'd ever heard. Like, there's really... I guess I say it like that to make it seem, since we're in this vibe and in this environment, to make it seem scarier than it is. But if you were to ask me on the street, remember that noise you have when the usher goes? I'd probably get chills, and I'd tell you it was really scary. That it was a terrifying noise, and I wish someone had filmed my face, because when you're drumming, you're usually focused. You have a very in the zone look. You're just kind of about this. But Phil will tell you that my face went from that to just wide-eyed, drop mouth, just very petrified look, like just. I mean, I can't even put the same face I had on, but I felt it, and I heard, and I just went into automatic kind of, and then I just stopped. I slowed down, I stopped, because I had to recollect myself. Recollect, not recollect. And I turned to Phil, and you can hear it on the recording, and I'll put it on the fan page here at some point. I told him, I said, I just heard the most terrifying sound I have ever heard. And he said, I know, I looked at you, and I didn't know what was up. And you can't really hear it on the recording. That's what's nuts, guys. You cannot hear it on the recording at all. And that's crazy to me, because I heard it so vividly, and it was right behind me, like right here. But this is even nutsier, because like I said, the crate amp often has a lot of frequencies. Picks up radio frequencies. I've heard it in the middle of the night. I've heard radio frequencies come out of that crate. And it's unsettling, because you're like, what the frick? There's voices. And you're like, oh, that's the radio. This was not a voice. There's no radio station broadcasting blood-curdling screams. Later on in the day, because he could tell I was visibly shaken. I was just kind of like, I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to do anything. Later in the night, or maybe the next day, he told me, hey, I heard it too. I just didn't want to say anything to freak you out more. And I said, where did you hear it? He said, I heard it over where you were. I heard it near you. It wasn't near me. It was over where you are. And that was really creepy kind of moment. We're just like, what? Oh my gosh. Like, I don't like any of that. And so what's really interesting about the song too, and this kind of gets a little crazier here, is the song. I did this, if you didn't notice, when I counted off the song, and this is getting into kind of spiritual demonic area, and that's kind of a creepypasta area too, so that's kind of fun, but it's crossing into that spiritual demonic realm thing. I counted off in 6. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, start the song. And that's how we play the song in drum beats, in 6 times, or at least for the opening. But it's in 6. Count to 6, start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. And I went through that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 3 times. I counted it because I remember the distinct moment when I heard it. And when I went back and listened to it later, years down the road, I realized that I heard that sound. And this is seriously, this is getting really kind of in that realm of like, really, Caleb? But I'm serious. It happened 3 times after I played. After I played through the 6 part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After I went through that thing 3 times, that's when I heard the noise. And if you can do the math, you know what that kind of equates up to there. And it's just a little peculiar, and it's very strange, because Mourning is about some very, you don't want to mess with that kind of thing stuff. But it's also Edgar Allan Poe, like it's this literature, it's this music. And it's crazy to think that, you know, music does have a lot of hold over us emotionally. Like when we listen to music, we get into it, we feel it, you know, it grabs us. And it almost is like a spiritual, magical experience. Neil,
What?
was that you?
Was what, man?
Neil, I'm not having that. Neil, not right now. Oh man. But so it was a little odd, too odd of a coincidence, you know? And so we let it be for a while, and the story's not done yet, guys, either. That's what's really scary. We came back to it about, what is it, 2 years ago? Or 3 years ago?
It's been about 3 years now.
3 years ago, and we said we're going to try to recreate that moment. So we set up, and this is just being silly, we have an attic over there in the corner, and I put my laptop that I actually record all my covers on, and I took a microphone like this one, and we put it deep in our attic. Don't know why we did, though, because just why not? And we lit some candles, we played the song, we had Neil over on bass, we had our friend Tim over on guitar, we had Phil on guitar, and me on the drums, and Phil singing. And we had that set up, we had a camera set up over here, to record us. We had all the lights off. We didn't play at night. We should have. We closed the blinds, but you know. And we got some. And I recorded over here a playthrough, and I recorded behind me. I recorded a shot of the side of my face looking at the attic where the attic door was open. I can't tell you how terrifying it was to play with the attic door open to my right. I didn't like playing that song in the first place just because of how eerie it was. But it was even worse doing that. And there are several moments on the videos, and I wish I have to re-upload the video because I'm playing the drums. And yes, you probably would say, oh, your camera's... Basically, the camera moved, and a lot of people would say, oh, you're playing the drums really fast. So therefore, your camera moved. You're hitting the double bass, and your camera shifted. Because, guys, it did not shift on the fast parts. Neil, did it shift on the fast part?
It was too solid of a movement to
it was
your drums, too. Like,
it was a really deliberate movement.
Super hard.
It panned like just. It was smooth. It was crisp. It wasn't some like, oh, it's misplaced. Guys, in my covers that I've recorded, I'd never have had it shift like this ever.
You jump around.
I jump around a lot. You see me. I move, and I've been upstairs and recorded in places. I am upstairs right now, but I've never had that happen. And they were over on the other side of the room. And I'm sure you could explain it away with some kind of movement. I'm sure there's something. But here is something that's also true about my old camera that I used. It did, and I maybe I'm just realizing this too, but it did have facial recognition, as in the camera would move to where your face was. And that camera moved to the right of me and looked almost deeper into the attic of sorts. And I'm not kidding. You can see this footage, guys. I moved right into that attic. And just not cool. Not cool. And then we went and panned through the recording we had in the attic, which is about 25 minutes long. And we were just sitting and listening to it. And about the actual playthroughs of our songs and the videos weren't that long. I think maybe 8 minutes total. The rest is us prepping to do this. Getting ready, getting drinks, chatting, trying the song, getting it ready, because I haven't played it in a while. And there's a part where Neil and Tim are going through the song. They're figuring out how the chords go and whatnot. And Phil is downstairs. And I'm up here. And I'm listening to the recording. Nothing's happening. But then I hear this distinct rah in front of the mic. Mind you, at this point, right before this happened, you hear Neil and Tim talking, conversing behind the mic. Very obviously behind the mic. This is the same Shure SM57, a directional microphone. It does pick up sounds around it, but the main is going to come from the front. You can hear Tim and Neil talking, very faint, and playing faintly in the background. You hear this rah in front of the mic. And then you hear words, actual words that are audible and understandable. And I heard them, and I was like, what the frick? I didn't think anything about it, guys, because I thought it was Phil. Because Phil's made some funny noises in the past. Phil kind of has some strange voices he does, so I didn't think anything of it. I thought, well, it's a little intense, but that sounded like Phil, and he's downstairs. He's technically in front of the mic, so it wouldn't be past him. But he was down there by himself, guys, too. I don't know Phil to make weird noises just out of nowhere for no good reason if he's not making a joke.
I don't think it would have picked him up downstairs.
It shouldn't have. Not in the quality it did. Not in the quality it did.
That sounded right on the mic.
It was loud, and it wasn't like someone's right in front of the mic, but it was close, and it was clear.
Enough to be near the mic.
It was definitely clear enough to be near the mic. And we deciphered it, guys. And it was really, it's just like, no joke, my parents are like, you're not playing that song in this house. Like, they've heard it, and they're seriously laid down the line, you're not playing this song in this house. And after they heard it, because we were listening to it, Tim and Neil and me, and we're like, well, that's really strange. Like, we're just like, that's so strange. And we kept thinking, oh, Phil did it. And then we brought Phil up to listen to it, and he heard it, and he flipped the frick out. I've not seen Phil flip out like that. I've not seen Phil kind of go, what? Like, he got into it. We're like, what do you, like, dude, you did that, right? And he's like, I did not do that. When have I made it sound like that? He started getting adamant about it. And we're like, I mean, I've heard you make weird sounds. Like, I did not make that sound. I did not make that noise at all. I have not made that noise. And we all, I think, just got shivers and had a collective, like, okay, that's weird. I don't like that. And so we've kind of quarantined the song to a certain degree, because I don't know if those tritones or whatever it is are just like materials that something works with or whatnot, or if we're just making it all up in our head, you know, whatever you want to choose to work with, guys. But I can laugh at it, you know, and try to be like, oh, it was probably me messing and being crazy, but it's really hard to ignore the things I heard and the things that are recorded. And it's just strange. Just very strange. I think it's the best word for it, and I wish y'all could hear it, because I hadn't even told y'all what we thought it said, which was very, very vivid, and I think incredibly accurate. The raw is a little hard to make out, but we all agreed on the last part. The first part, I think, says stop. It says stop. And then the next part says, it says stop or I'll take your life. And it says that very plainly. You can make out or I'll take your life. You can make it out in plain. And it sounds like someone screaming it. It says stop or I'll take your life. And it was before, funny thing is, it was before we played the song, so clearly we didn't listen. And no one took our life. Maybe because they knew we were ignorant. I don't know. But every time I play that song now or think of that song, I get chills. And it's really unsettling. And the saga continues to a certain degree. Because we are, Phil was playing, when we were recording our first album, The Opera Ghost, or before we actually went to the studio to record, he was here practicing laying down a vocal track for the song High Above. Now, if you haven't listened to High Above, you can go and listen to High Above on our Opera Ghost album. And it's the last track. And it's a very spiritual song, which is cool for From the Dark. And I love when Phil writes about stuff like that, because I think he has incredibly important and poignant messages for everybody. And it's not a satanic song in the slightest, like absolutely not. But I think when you deal with anything, me personally in my beliefs, if you deal with anything in the spiritual plane, you kind of start having the opportunity, the possibility to tap into things you didn't mean to, or go after things that you did not intend. And so, and this is all possibly as well complete accidents. I am 100% a skeptic in that sense. So, but I'm not going to be, at least in my mind, foolish enough to completely rule out the possibility. But he was recording the vocal track for that song, very spiritual song, and he pulled out his phone to, he has a, funny enough, he had a flip phone, but he pulled out his phone to text whoever it was, and his phone, his dialer had opened up, and it had typed in 666, just those three, throughout him standing and recording. And you know how often people check phones, you know, just look at your phone before you do things, do your thing, then check your phone after. It was like that. And it was there. He erased it. He said, that's creepy. He went and recorded the next vocal track, came back, did it again. Just strange, guys. Just strange, you know?
That happened.
Yeah, that happened.
When was that?
That was when he was recording High Above. It was about, I think, 2 days before we left for the studio.
Wow.
No, it was strange. He kind of laughed at it, but I was like, that's odd. Guys, he has a flip phone, okay? It's not like he opened it up and, you know, slid it in there. It would have snapped the neck.
It's not like there's buttons on the outside that you could accidentally press in
Yeah.
your pocket.
No, there's not. And everyone here knows that Phil like loves his flip phones. He does not like smartphones. He doesn't own a smartphone. He's adamantly against it. But yeah, there's our ongoing saga with From the Dark,
You could
the Usher ghost as well. What can I do?
was gonna say you could add that one other thing that happened
What was the one other thing?
when I had sleep paralysis at 3
Oh,
a.m.
yeah.
in the same room.
You want to tell them about that, Neil? You
Yeah.
tell them about that.
One night I woke up laying on the couch here in the same room that all this other things have happened in, and I look over to the clock and notice it's 3 o'clock on the dot. So okay, that's weird to myself. And the next thing I know, the computer turns on, the one we're using right now, by itself. Even it just really creeped me out right there, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try and go to sleep and pretend this didn't happen. Next thing I know, my whole body freezes. I can't move, and it feels like there's some kind of presence just pushing down on my shoulders and covering my face, not allowing me to breathe for a solid 5 seconds. And then it lets me go. And that's all there really is to the story, but
That's weird. No, you looked it up after that, and there is such a thing as sleep paralysis and that kind
there's
of
theories,
emotion.
though, that it's connected to the spiritual realm, too. People
Yeah.
will see things while they have sleep paralysis.
I would. Thank goodness you did.
Yeah, I didn't
That
see
would've
anything,
sucked.
but it felt like there was something there.
I don't deny it. I think if you have an attuneness, I really do think, me personally, if you believe in that stuff or even have an inkling to possibly believe, your chances of experiencing something like that, I think, dramatically increase. Now, if you don't care or don't pay attention to it or don't, believe in any of it or just kind of say hooey to it, you're probably not going to experience anything. Even if it happens, you're probably not going to experience anything because you're going to explain it away. That's, I think, as simple as it gets right there. So I think there's credence to that. I absolutely think there's credence to that. And I don't think this room's haunted. I don't think there's anything particularly about this room. I think that it doesn't matter where you are. If you try hard enough, you might get something. That's what I think. You might. No guarantees. But anyway, I'm going to refresh this. We're going to read some creepypasta, and then we'll call it an evening, y'all. And then next time, the Halloween portion is going to be a good bit longer, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And you're not going to want to miss it, because it's going to be tight. Spoopy. Yeah, bloody stanzas. It's not that good to do a count 3 times. It's like inviting something you don't want in. My advice for you to count to 4 at least when you guys start playing your music. Now let's see. Probably a very loud cat mating ritual. Maybe. Chad liked the album. Let's see. Well, you can tell me what y'all think about that story in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts on spiritual stuff and things like that, and demons and all that jazz if you want to. I'd be interested to listen to your thoughts since we are talking about scary things. These candles are getting really dim. All right, guys. I'm going to pull up another creepypasta maybe that y'all have suggested, and we'll see what we get. I really hope the demon's not in my house. I'm going to read your comment. Hillary. Bloody Stains thinks we need to have might need to get a cleansing. That sleep paralysis is somewhat common to have, but hearing that's some kind of mischievous spirit or something else.
I feel like it's just too coincidental that I woke up at 3 o'clock on the dot in the morning, and then the computer turned on.
My computer turns on at 3 every time, though. It always does that.
That was the first time I ever saw it turn on.
Yeah, that was the first time you experienced it.
I have seen it turn on before at 3 a.m.
I don't know why it turns on at
didn't
3.
happen
It just
until
does.
after that time, for me personally.
Uh-huh.
You really want that Russian sleep experiment.
If the Russian sleep experiment wouldn't take an hour and a half, I would do it.
Will you do it next time?
I'll do the Russian sleep experiment next time, y'all. I'll make it.
What is
I will
that?
make it. It's a creepypasta. It's just like super long. It's like a book length.
Huh.
Nikki watched Annabelle. I'm sorry, guys. Don't watch Annabelle. It's really creepy. Let's see. Anima Allure has been to all 3 chats this week. Good for you.
Wow. Man,
Chad loved it. Our trivia. Hillary loved it.
I'm glad it's worth
True
it.
Gamer. I'm glad y'all keep coming back. Clearly, it's not too terrible.
Sucky.
Let us see. Let us eat some lettuce. For those people who just joined, thank you for coming.
Lettuce.
I'm sorry my stream started late too. I just got caught up in some Dead Island with these wonderful folk, and got lost in the mix. Excuse me.
Also, did you see that Reinhold did a beef Karen?
Oh heck yeah! I need to watch it.
He did it as Nasty Pete.
That's cute.
I thought that was fun.
I don't like this page.
Oh boy. That's fun looking.
Creepypasta.com looking real silly.
Ooh.
Welcome to creepypasta.com. Whoa! Want to read about someone getting impaled? You know, your mother? Like what? No, gosh, you look so pleasant. This isn't pleasant at all. Like
That's some good looking pasta.
that is some good looking pasta.
Scary spaghetti.
Scary spaghetti. Ooh, spaghetti. What do you mean no favorites list? Pasta by rating. There we go. That's the one I want. A rated pasta. Strange and unknown. Ooh, I like those. If they just keep the pictures away from me, I'm okay. I'm not a big fan of the picture stuff. Like, that can go away. Ugh. There's one called Bedtime.
Not like, some posted like a tweet. Something about. Let's see. I know people are trying to post some shorter ones.
People are posting shorter ones. Let me see.
Although Shadow Crow is like the Russian sleep experiment is shorter than Smile Dog.
Really? I mean, I scrolled through Russian, and that was long.
He said it's 2,000 words long. It's shorter than Smile Dog.
Color me pickled. I thought I went up.
Color me surprised.
Color me surprised. When I looked at it, it seemed really long.
Just do it.
Okay, well then I'll do it. I'm gonna do it. Where is it? Let me find it.
Good job, guys.
Got me to do it. Another bottle of wine is open for Malcolm.
Heck yeah. Sorry, Danielle. Yeah, the idea is that we do them late at night because it's creepy, but at the same time, it's not convenient for people's sleep schedules. That's why we tell you in advance, so you can take a nap for it.
I see people suggesting really big name things, and I'm saving that for next time.
Oh, so you have to tune in on Halloween.
So you have to tune in on Halloween for that kind of stuff, guys. If you want the big name ones, the classics, you have to be for Halloween. Let's see. Just for my intrigue. Oh, that's wonderful.
What?
I just see Russian sleep experiment pictures and my head hurts now.
Mhm.
Ugh. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Okie doke. This is the Russian sleep experiment, and this candle is dying, so you need to hurry up and light more because I need more lighting. I don't think putting more flame on the candle wick actually makes it brighter. It does not. Russian researchers in the late 1940s kept 5 people awake for 15 days using an experimental gas-based stimulant. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake so the gas didn't kill them, since it was toxic in high concentrations. This was before closed-circuit cameras, so they had only microphones and 5-inch thick glass porthole-sized windows into the chamber to monitor them. The chamber was stocked with books, cots to sleep on, but no bedding, running water and toilet, and enough dried food to last all 5 for over a month. The test subjects were political prisoners deemed enemies of the state during World War II. Everything was fine for the first 5 days, the subjects hardly complained, having been promised falsely that they would be freed if they submitted to the test and did not sleep for 30 days. Their conversations and activities were monitored, and it was noted that they continued to talk about increasingly traumatic incidences in their past. And the general tone of their conversation took on a darker aspect after the 4-day mark. After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that led them to where they were and started to demonstrate severe paranoia. They stopped talking to each other and began alternately whispering to the microphones and one-way mirrored portholes. Oddly, they all seemed to think they could win the trust of the experimenters by turning over their comrades, the other subjects in captivity with them. At first, the researchers suspected this was an effect of the gas itself. After 9 days, the first of them started screaming. He ran the length of the chamber, repeatedly yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight. He continued attempting to scream, but was only able to produce occasional squeaks. The researchers postulated that he had physically torn his vocal cords. The most surprising thing about his behavior is how the other captives reacted to it. Or rather, didn't react to it. They continued whispering to the microphones until the second of the captives started to scream. The two non-screaming captives took the books apart, smeared page after page with their own feces, and pasted them calmly over the glass portholes. Screaming promptly, it stopped. And so did the whispering into the microphones. After 3 more days passed, the researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they were working, since they thought it was impossible that no sound could be coming with 5 people inside. The oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 must still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of oxygen 5 people would consume at a very heavy level of strenuous exercise. On the morning of the 14th day of the research, the researchers did something they said they would not do to get a reaction from the captives. They used the intercom inside the chamber, hoping to provoke any response from the captives they were afraid were either dead or vegetables. They announced, "We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you your immediate freedom." To their surprise, they heard a single phrase in a calm voice respond, "We no longer want to be freed." Debate broke out amongst the researchers and the military forces funding the research. Unable to provoke any more response using the intercom, it was finally decided to open the chamber at midnight on the 15th day. The chamber was flushed of the stimulant gas and filled with fresh air, and immediately voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different voices began begging, as if pleading for their life, of loved ones to turn the gas back on. The chamber was open, and soldiers sent in to retrieve the test subjects. They began to scream louder than ever, and so did the soldiers when they saw what was inside. 4 of the 5 subjects were still alive, although no one could rightly call the state that any of them in life. There was a weird sound over there. Okay, that makes sense. It was a phone vibration. The food rations past day 5 had not been so much as touched. There were chunks of meat from the dead test subject's thighs and chest stuffed into the drain in the center of the chamber, blocking the drain and allowing 4 inches of water to accumulate on the floor. Precisely how much of the water on the floor was actually blood was never determined. All 4 surviving test subjects also had large portions of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The destruction of flesh and exposed bone on their fingertips indicated that the wounds were inflicted by hand, not with teeth as the researchers initially thought. Closer examination of the position and angles of the wounds indicated that most, if not all of them, were self-inflicted. The abdominal organs below the ribcage of all 4 test subjects had been removed, while the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place. The skin and most of the muscles attached to the ribs had been ripped off, exposing the lungs through the ribcage. All the blood vessels and organs remained intact. They had just been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out around the eviscerated but still living bodies of the subjects. The digestive tract of all 4 could be seen working, digesting food. There's my cat. It quickly became apparent that what they were digesting was their own flesh that they had ripped off and eaten over the course of days. Most of the soldiers were Russian test subjects, Russian special operatives at the facility, but still, many refused to return to the chamber to remove the test subjects. They continued to scream to be left in the chamber and alternately begged and demanded that the gas be turned back on, lest they fall asleep. To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up a fierce fight in the process of being removed from the chamber. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out. Another was gravely injured by having his testicles ripped off and an artery in his leg severed by one of the test subject's teeth. Another 5 of the soldiers lost their lives, if you count ones that committed suicide in the weeks following the incident. In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen rupture and he bled out almost immediately. The medical researchers attempted to sedate him, but this proved impossible. He was injected with more than 10 times the human dose of a morphine derivative and still fought like a cornered animal, breaking the ribs and arm of one doctor. When heart was seen to beat for a full 2 minutes after he had bled out, to the point there was more air in his vascular system than blood. Even after it stopped, he continued to scream and flail for over another 3 minutes, struggling to attack anyone in reach, and just repeating the word more, over and over, weaker and weaker, until he finally fell silent. The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to a medical facility, the 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begging for the gas, demanding to be kept awake. The most injured of the 3 was taken to the only surgical operating room that the facility had. In the process of preparing the subject to have his organs placed back within his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative they had given him to prepare him for the surgery. He fought furiously against restraints when the anesthetic gas was brought in to put him under. He managed to tear most of the way through a 4-inch wide leather strap on his wrist. Even though the weight of a 200-pound soldier holding the wrist as well, it took only a little more anesthetic than normal to put him under, and the instant his eyelids fluttered and closed, his heart stopped. In an autopsy of the test subject that died on the operating table, it was found that his blood had tripled the normal level of oxygen. His muscles that were still attached to his skeleton were badly torn, and he had broken 9 bones in his struggle to be not subdued. Most of them were from the force of his own muscles that had exerted on him. The second survivor had been the first of the group of the 5 to start screaming. His vocal cords destroyed, he was unable to beg or object to surgery, and he only reacted by shaking his head violently in disapproval when the anesthetic gas was brought near him. He shook his head yes when someone suggested reluctantly they try the surgery without anesthetic, and did not react for the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing his abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what remained of his skin. The surgeon presiding stated repeatedly that it should be medically possible for the patient to still be alive. One terrified nurse assisting the surgery stated that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a smile several times whenever his eyes met hers. When the surgery ended, the subject looked at the surgeon and began wheezing loudly, attempting to talk while struggling. Assuming this must be something of drastic importance, the surgeon had a pen and pad fetched so the patient could write his message. The patient simply wrote, "Keep cutting." The other 2 test subjects were given the same surgery, both without anesthetic as well, although they had to be injected with a paralytic for the duration of the operation. The surgeon found it impossible to perform the operation while the patients laughed continuously. Once paralyzed, the subjects could only follow the attending researchers with their eyes. The paralytic cleared their system in an abnormally short period of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bonds. The moment they could speak, they were again asking for the stimulant gas. The researchers tried asking why they had injured themselves and why they had ripped out their own guts and why they wanted to be given the gas again. Only one response was given: "I must remain awake." All 3 subjects' restraints were reinforced, and they were placed back into the chamber, awaiting determination as to what should be done with them. The researchers, facing the wrath of their military benefactors for having failed the stated goals of their project, considered euthanizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer, an ex-KGB, instead saw potential and wanted to see what would happen if they were put back on the gas. The researchers strongly objected, but they were overruled. In preparation for being sealed in the chamber again, the subjects were connected to an EEG monitor and had their restraints padded for long-term confinement. To everyone's surprise, all three stopped struggling the moment it let slip that they were going back on the gas. It was obvious that at this point, all three were putting up a great struggle to stay awake. One of the subjects that could speak was humming loudly and continuously. The mute subject was straining his legs against the leather bonds with all his might, first left, then right, then left again for something to focus on. The remaining subject was holding his head off his pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired for EEG, most of the researchers were monitoring his brainwaves in surprise. They were normal most of the time, but sometimes flatlined inexplicably. It looked as if he were repeatedly suffering brain death before returning to normal. As they focused on paper scrolling out of the brainwave monitor, only one nurse saw his eyes slip shut at the same moment his head hit the pillow. His brainwaves immediately changed to that of deep sleep, then flatlined for the last time as his heart simultaneously stopped. The only remaining subject that could speak started screaming to be sealed in now. His brainwaves showed the same flatlines as one who had just died from sleeping. The commander gave the order to seal the chamber with both subjects inside, as well as 3 researchers. One of the named 3 immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank between the eyes, then turned the gun on the mute subject and blew his brains out as well. He pointed his gun at the remaining subject, still restrained to a bed as the remaining members of the medical research team fled the room. "I won't be locked in here with these things, not with you," he screamed at the man strapped to the table. "What are you?" he demanded. "I must know." The subject smiled. "Have you forgotten so easily?" the subject asked. "We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread." The researcher paused, then aimed at the subject's heart and fired. The EEG flatlined as the subject weakly choked out. So nearly free. That's pretty odd. That one was odd. That was cool. I liked that. It was neat. I enjoyed that. I was a little confused at the beginning of it, but I think it was pulled around back near the end. I liked it, though. I thought it was tight.
It was good. I've heard it before. It's so good.
Ugh, those images, though. Ugh. Ugh. Made my skin crawl.
Yeah, okay.
I did not like that. It was creepy. Freaked me out. Y'all freak me out with your stories, with this creepy pastas. Creepy pastas. How you doing, Neil?
That's pretty good.
You falling asleep?
No,
Really? You looked asleep.
I'm just chilling.
It's okay if you sleep.
Just chilling.
Just chilling.
Yeah. She told me she had a good day today with me.
Aww. That's sweet. Neil had a date today. It went well. Maybe she's in this chat. Maybe she's listening in.
That's far-fetched, but
It's far-fetched as all get out. I just think it'd be a fun thing to consider, wouldn't it?
it would be cool.
I don't even know if y'all can see me whenever I'm on that creepypasta site because it's so dark. Well, guys, it was fun, y'all. Super fun. Loved doing this. Loved it, loved it, loved it. So, also, if you are here, go look at the beginning of the video. Just go to the beginning of the video. You probably missed something. So, you want to jump to the beginning of the video if you just got here. Check it out. Pretty cool stuff happened. So thank y'all for tuning in to Creepypasta Night number 2. There will be a third and final on the 31st. There may be an impromptu in between then. Maybe, depending on how things are going. I have a lot of work to do and a lot of covers to do, guys.
Disney
A
Trivia
lot.
Wednesday night.
Disney Trivia Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Central. You're going to want to be there because it's going to be fun with Kayla Makes Magic. And that's always fun. So, tune in for that. Stay tuned for more covers. I got some cool villain ones coming up, guys. You're not going to want to miss it. Defying Gravity will be put on louder relatively soon, so you can download that. And I think that'll be awesome. I'll try to Be Prepared up there as well. And thank y'all again for watching. If you have any questions, just ask me in the comment section. I'll try to get to them. And let me know what you think. I'll talk to y'all later. Hashtag Horror for Hiles. Hashtag Fall for Disney. Thank y'all again. Peace, love, and metal. Good night.